All right, guys, we got our radiator support painted. We didn't paint it right here. This is just where we're letting it set up. It's looking really good. That's all base cleared. Looks good. Now we got our door set up on the stand here. That's our new door. There's our old door. We're just gonna disassemble it and change all the guts over to the new door. We already have our mirror mounted, a couple parts. I don't know if I'm gonna go step by step on how to do this. I'm not really sure. There's a big interest on how to do every single step and changing over door parts. I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. I may pull everything out and kind of lay it down as an exploded view before we go ahead and put it back in. For right now, we're gonna reuse everything. I think the customer is gonna change it. This is a standard interior car. I think he's going deluxe interior, which means you have to change your door latch mechanism on the inside. Standard pulls up, deluxe pulls out. So that has to be changed. And believe it or not, the window crank is different too. The stud length is different on the deluxe interior. And he's going to do all new glass. This one here has got a small chip right on the edge. But for now, it's functional until he gets it painted. And this is going to come all back apart anyway. We're just going to swap everything over from these doors to our brand new doors. All right, so I can't really resist showing you how to do some of this. It's just in my nature. To get the glass, first thing we're going to do is get the glass. Go ahead and remove it from the door shell. There are two stops, one in the back, one in the front. It controls up and I guess down too. But you got to adjust this when you put everything back together. So when the glass raises up, you want it, you can't see what I'm doing. As the glass raises up, you want it to be level so it shuts with the roof rail on the car and doesn't catch anything or there's not a gap. So anyway, to get the glass out, you have to remove these. So I already got one screw out. There's another screw. We'll go ahead and pull this out. And the front, we already removed it. Here's the stop. It goes right down in that spot right there. This goes in, and again, when it comes up, this is how you adjust the up on the front section, and this controls up on the back section. So here's that piece out. It's got like a little point, and if you look down inside there, that actually kind of nestles down in that little cradle there, lines it up, keeps it from moving around too much, but then it also is the stop too. So in order to get the glass out, obviously you got to remove the stops. So first step, remove the stops front and back, which we just did. Now we'll have to, I actually already did this, but I'll show you. If we crank the window down, so this is how the glass gets attached to the up and down mechanism. There's a nut and a stud here. There's also one here on that channel. With those off, now we can actually take and it's got tension on it, but I'll pull that back. That'll release the glass from the mechanism, and we should be able to raise that glass up and slip it out. We do have all the tracks loose here, which helps. So let's go ahead and unclip that off the studs and raise that glass up and out. All right, it's been a little while since I pulled one out, and I forgot how much of a pain it sometimes can be to get that door glass out. But pretty much you got to remove this trim piece, weather stripping piece on the outside of the door, and these clips can be a pain. You might bend them, you might have to bend them back in shape. We got that out. It's easier to just take this track out. So we have that front track out. The back track is loose. As you can see, it slides, and that allows, depending on how it's adjusted in the car, it may not slip out of that track if it's too far in. This one was actually bottomed out all the way in, and it was hitting the door frame. If by chance your adjustment is out a little bit, then it may slip right out without taking this loose. But we have that loose. There's a plug down here that you take this bottom piece out. We'll finish taking those out and take that track all the way out. We do have to take, there's two Phillips screws here with a plate with a pad on it. and again one back here. This one always wears because there's a kind of a plastic bumper that slides on it. That's what tightens the glass up as it gets to the top, keeps it from flopping around so much. Also with these pads, as you roll the window down, keeps it from scratching on any of this metal, or helps it from scratching. So let's keep removing all this stuff, and then like I said, I got the door glass laid out over there. We'll kind of put everything out in the exploded view and show how it works. Door glass, door mechanisms all out, window mechanism rather. So the door latch, there's 3 bolts that stick through. You get those out, that comes down. There's one screw here on a clip right here. We'll leave that attached to the door latch assembly. We do have the lock mechanism to take out. It's pretty easy. There's 2 Teflon plastic pieces in here. There's a stop on either side, so these drive in towards. You can either grab these with a big pair of pliers and push them, or you can just kind of push them with a screwdriver and they pop out. Maybe. There it goes. So once that's out, that pops out of the mechanism inside. And then you can just weave that through. Pull that right out. I believe this is actually different for deluxe interior too. Not 100% sure, but I think it might be in a different location. But anyway, that's out. These are Phillips screws. I already broke them loose. Grab our Phillips screwdriver, but they're usually in there pretty tight. Actually, I thought I did. Must have tightened them back up. So these are usually in there pretty tight, and you might have to use an impact driver to get them out. We'll get these out. That whole assembly with this will slip out, and we're almost stripped down to bare bones here. We still have these plates. We have our exterior door handle and our lock. Actually, we got to get that out. Forgot about that. So let me see if I can put you down in here. There's like kind of like a giant brake clip that holds this lock mechanism in. Put our screwdriver in there. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. We're not worried about scratching anything because these doors are trashed. Once you get it so far out, you can grab it with your hand. I'll pull it out here. So it's kind of like a giant brake clip. Once you have that out, you can actually just push your lock cylinder out. Pull it right out. We'll set that aside. All that's good. So now we can either take the exterior door handle off right now, or we can bust these loose and get that mechanism out, either or. All right, we got that exterior door handle off, as you can see. Now we're down to removing these plates, 2 screws, and there is a hook on the bottom, and it actually hooks on the inner structure there. So if you don't get these in right and you put them on, they'll be out way too far. So definitely hook them and then run the screw in. So obviously we're removing these last so we can put these in the door first. All right, we got some of our initial parts swapped over. We got the door handle swapped over. We got these plates swapped over. These are on there. We'll probably take them back off. I just kind of threw them on there so I wouldn't lose which position they go in. We have some hardware here, but if you come over here, here is the exploded view of the door mechanism. So obviously you have your glass up here. Here's the bottom bump stop. It's rubber, so it's not bouncing around when it's in the down position. You have a roller here with a small slide. Here's where the glass actually bolts on to actually this piece right here. So this goes there, this goes there. This is your window, where your window knob crank handle goes on rather. Here's where this bolts on. On the back side here of this mechanism, there's a slide. This is the slide. There's a roller that goes in that slide. This one bolts on the opposite way. This bolts to the door, and that slides. There's a roller in there. We can pull it out and show you. There's a roller right here. So we want to grease all this up, make sure it's all nice and free and nothing's wore out. That goes on there, and between this, where this is bolted on, and this gear set, that's how your window goes up and down. Here's your back slide for your window. This will actually go in there. There's a roller on the back here. There's again the roller on the front here. That goes into this slide. Of course, all this stuff bolts into your door. We go back a little further. Here's our door latch mechanism. Here's our bell crank. This is actually pulled down. This should be back a little bit. We'll fix that later. Here's the little clip with the screw that holds that from rattling around. This is where your door jamb is, and this is your actual latch. So there's 3 screws. Where are they? One here, one there that holds this mechanism. Here's the door lock mechanism. Here's these 2 plastic pieces, and this whole mechanism actually goes right inside, and that's when this thing twists, that's what moves this up and down. So on the outside of your door handle will actually push on this piece here. That's what opens your door, and right here is where your door or your lock mechanism locks this. So that goes up and down, and that's what locks that. So that's pretty much it. The exploded view, like I said, we already have some of the stuff put back in the door. And the hardware is here, along with the stops and the lock mechanism. So let's go ahead and start reassembling this stuff into this door shell. And we should be able to throw this door on today. All right, guys, we got pretty much everything bolted back in the door. We push the door glass down in there. The easiest way is to really tilt it up towards the inside of the door. It'll go past the structure here, and then you can curl it down. As you can see, this roller right here needs to slide into that track. There we go. We don't have the back track in there yet, but it'll go on that roller. That roller there will go on. It's fairly easy to put that in later. So we'll get this kind of slid down in there. And actually we can go ahead and put that track in there now. So this track, we just kind of push it down through the door opening here. We'll line up the end of it with that roller. Probably can't see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can. There we go. We got that pushed through. Now we'll keep twisting this around. The glass needs to go, there we go. All right, now we have that spot lined up, and there will be a couple spots up top here that line up. This top plate goes here, and the bottom bolt is over here. Get this one started first. There we go. And we'll get this one here started. We'll have to jockey that glass around a little bit to get that to line up. All right, we got that in, and it's roughly snugged up. All this will have to be adjusted later on. We're just getting everything swapped over. So we have our track here, and right here is where the studs for the door glass come through. So we'll push that glass down, find where the studs are. We might have to adjust this a tiny bit. Here we go. That one lined up. We'll go ahead and get that nut started on there. That's started. Push the glass down there. Pop right on. Nice. We'll go ahead and snug these up. Put a little oil in that track, and we'll see how the window works. With them in there, now we can crank the window. It is spring assisted up. You don't really realize it, but laying flat, you see it. You'll see it jump around a little bit, but it's working nice and smooth. That's up. We still have to put our up stops in. But just making sure this works smoothly. Works just like it should. Actually really nice. So we're good there. Let's go ahead and get our stops put in. And there we go. That door is completely reassembled and roughly adjusted. Window goes up and down smoothly. Won't be able to tell 100% if we're adjusted correctly until we get it in the car, and like I said, check the glass fitment at the roof rail. So I guess this one's ready to go ahead and put back on. We can bolt it back on the car, adjust it as needed. Let's get busy on the other one.